because he was in a panic and bought rubber gloves and duct tape. And that after he cut up the body, he wrapped her up using sheets. And he drove around and he wasn't sure what to do. And ultimately, he bought some gasoline at a local gas station. He pulled his car over, tossed her on the ground, a little off the roadway, dumped the gas he had on her, and he lit her on fire. And then he drove off. This person was trying to deflect the investigation away from murder.
It wasn't her, and you feel stupid because you believed it, because you had so much hope.
So you have a person who's trying to tell you, hey, listen, this was a tragic accident. I certainly didn't kill her. I just panicked. I know what I did was terrible, but I didn't kill her. And so P.S., you can't prove beyond a reasonable doubt I killed her. Investigators had to make sure that they had enough evidence to prove that this was not an accident. And I was very candid with Barbara to say, this is the issue, in particular in the form of a medical examiner's report to ensure that the cause of death was actually a homicide and that it was the result of a stab wound to the liver and not a head injury.
I was, more than just confused. It was, gut-wrenching. And your mind is just in a whirlwind. But the truth of the matter is, the detectives said that they would go to the ends of the earth to bring him back to justice.
They're now going to follow up on all the investigative information to prove what really happened that night. So they were able to obtain video footage showing the Ganthier's vehicle driving onto the ferry. And there was footage of Ganthier coming out of his car and going up the steps. And he did not look like a panicked person. Using the cell site information from his phone, they went to the areas in Connecticut he was at, and then they went to the grocery store. They asked for video surveillance and receipts for the time frame that they now knew he was in Connecticut. And lo and behold, they found a receipt on a particular register for duct tape and rubber gloves at a particular time, and then they got the video footage and they looked for that time from that register, and there's Evans Ganthier purchasing duct tape and rubber gloves. That footage became critically important because here's a person who's just panicked. So you would expect to see a demeanor perhaps consistent with somebody panicking. You know, they're disorganized, they're dropping their change, they're looking around, they're shaking. He was as calm as a cucumber. And when they rang up the duct tape and the gloves, he waited for the receipt. And then when they handed him the receipt, he waited for his change and then he looked at it as if he was checking it, calmly put everything away. So that is not the demeanor of a completely panicked, innocent person. That's the demeanor of a cold-blooded killer who's trying to get away with murder.